Well, first thing I'd like to do is thank Red Cloud for the opportunity to speak this morning in Canada. It's a little bit later here in Victoria, Australia at the moment, but I'm very, very keen to basically go through the North Stawell story. We listed late September. We've raised $20 million on the Australian Stock Exchange, and we're mobilising rigs, people, equipment as we speak, and we're hoping to start or commence drilling in the latter half of November this year. So we've basically been, it's been a 9-month effort this year. There's been a few slowdowns and hiccups because of COVID and a couple of other issues, but we're here. We're on the ground. We've got an excellent exploration team in place, and quite a bit of excitement in the exploration office at the moment. We've got geophysicists on board at the moment. There's a massive data review that we're completing as we speak, and we're just hoping that within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we should be kicking off our inaugural or maiden drill program. So what we'll be doing is kicking off a 10,000 metre drilling program at our most advanced project, which is called Wildwood. And if we can,
Steve, have you got that there?
I've got it there. Thank you.
Okay. Just let me know where you want the slides.
Yeah, just flick forwards a couple of slides, please. Okay, I just thought I'd spend a couple of minutes quickly introducing the directors and management of the company. We've been exceptionally fortunate to get Jerry Ellis, the former chairman of BHP Minerals, to join us as chairman. He's been very engaged in the process over the last 6 months. A genuine supporter of Victorian exploration, and I think that we're quite blessed to actually have him on board as chair. In addition, we have two prominent explorationists, and that's Graham Brown, who's UK-based, and Alastair Waddell, who's Vancouver-based. These gentlemen have both got quite distinguished careers in the exploration business. They've made discoveries in multiple commodities in multiple jurisdictions. And I feel particularly fortunate to be able to have these two gentlemen advising us and reviewing the exploration work as we go along. We have Campbell Olson, Melbourne-based, who basically put this concept together and was responsible for rejuvenating and restarting the Stawell gold mine over the last 2 to 3 years. It was in care and maintenance, purchased from Kirkland Lake Gold. It's been doing exceptionally well over the last couple of years, and we'll touch on that a little bit later in the presentation. And our exploration manager is Brad Robinson, who comes to us from Stawell Gold Mines. Brad and his team over the last 2 years have found 600,000 ounces of resources at the Stawell gold mine, and they're continuing to add ounces with every drill metre that they're drilling. There's been some phenomenally good exploration work done there. Next slide, please.
There we go.
So just having a quick look at our highlights here. We're fully funded. We listed on the 24th of September, raised $20 million on the Australian Stock Exchange. We've got a very aggressive 75,000 metre drilling program lined up for the next 2 years. And we're very, very heavily drill focused. I mean, that's where we're putting money into the ground. We have an exceptionally good 550 square kilometre tenure package immediately to the north of the Stawell gold mine. We've got 50 strike kilometres of Stawell mineralised corridor, and I believe that this is a regional play. This is the best portion of ground in the Stawell corridor. It's had some good exploration work done over the last 40 years, but there are quite a few opportunities to improve that, in particular with the learnings that we're taking from the Stawell gold mine over the last 2 to 3 years. So the key thing for us is we have over 40 gold targets in the tenure package, including 17 basalt domes, which are the same structure that hosts Stawell Gold Mine's 5 million ounce, it's the Magdala Dome. And we know that some of our gold, some of these domes are gold mineralized. I guess the question for us is to find out exactly how much gold is in these structures and to test 13, 14 other very, very lightly explored structures. So we've inherited a magnificent 40-year-old database from Stawell Gold Mines, and this modern era of exploration at Stawell basically kicked off 40 years ago with when Western Mining did the initial development. And there have been a raft of subsequent owners there. But there's just 160 kilometres of regional drilling, a massive amount of geophysical and geochemical data, and some of it which needs to be modernised, which is exactly what we're going to be doing, or we've started that. But we kick off in 3 or 4 weeks with our maiden drill program at Wildwood. We have a small 55,000 ounce JORC resource there at the moment. The good thing for us is that we can see some pretty good opportunities there now that we've modelled everything, popped all the data into a 3D database and a 3D GIS, and we can just see, I think, a lot more than what prior explorers have seen over the last 20 years, 10 years for that. Next slide, thanks. Next slide, thank you.
There you go.
So we have a strategic alliance with Stawell Gold Mines, which gives us quite a few benefits. It's enabled us to hit the ground running. Stawell Gold Mines currently drills about 45 kilometres of underground or core every year. They have a magnificent core processing facility and plenty of spare capacity to accommodate the additional drilling that we'll be bringing to site. So we have access to their people, to all the historical data on the mine, but we can also use the existing underground mine and virtually as a living laboratory to see mineralisation on the eastern and western flanks of these domes. And it really does help when you can see, touch and feel the mineralisation that you're chasing over a 50-kilometre area. Next slide, thanks. Our exploration budget is basically predicated on, we think we can put 80 cents in the dollar actually into the ground. So we're a low overhead cost business, big focus on drilling, geophysics, geochemistry, and just recruiting and keeping an exceptional team of people. Next slide, thank you. So just a little bit on Victoria and the Victorian gold renaissance. Victoria's been relatively underexplored to all other Australian states over the last 30 or 40 years. I think it took a Canadian company, Kirkland Lake Gold, to make this fantastic discovery that they did in late 2015 at Fosterville. It's currently operating as the world's highest grade and most profitable gold mine. And this has basically been a bellwether for other explorers to come back into Victoria and start exploring. We currently have about 30 listed gold producers, a handful of producers, but a lot of gold explorers in the state, mostly Australian, but there's quite a considerable Canadian junior presence as well. So just a little bit on the Stawell gold mine. It resumed production in early 2019. And it's just had phenomenal exploration success from its restart. It was mothballed at the time, But in 2.5 years, the exploration team there has found 600,000 ounces of gold on a portion of this basalt dome that was supposedly barren of economic mineralization. And only just recently they've drilled 98 meters at 5.8 grams on a portion of the northern portion of this Magdala dome. So they're continuing to deliver pretty good results, and I really wouldn't be surprised if this time next year there was they'll have in excess of 1 million ounces of new discoveries, which is pretty good given that the mine has got a 5 million ounce production history since 1860. Next slide, thanks, Derek. So this is our tenure position. The tenements are aligned fairly and squarely over the north-northeast trending Stawell mineralised corridor. The top 3 tenements are what we're focusing work on at the moment until the southern 2 applications are processed by the Victorian Mines Department. But what you can see here is very simply, it's just a target-rich environment. We have 17 basalt domes to pursue. We're expecting, we know some of them are mineralised, we know some of them aren't, and we're getting our heads around what geological conditions, on why some of these domes are the way that they are. But there's quite a bit of opportunity here too, with a number of granites and more recent intrusives that are poking their way through this tenure package. So we've got some very interesting alteration halos and some structural features here which really haven't been given that much attention over the last 20 to 30 years. So we'll make amends on that, but I think that there's no lack of good targets for us to be pursuing, and combining that with the recent developments in geological modelling of the Magdala basalt dome, I think that it's a pretty exciting place to be and a good time to be exploring here. Next slide, thanks, Derek. Okay, so Wildwood drilling is commencing at the end of November, 10,000 metre program. This resource is open along strike and at depth. There are significant undrilled portions here, and we suspect that there's a westerly structure that we'll be chasing up as well. So this is going to be our news flow between now and Christmas, but by January next year, I think we'll be running another 2 or 3 rigs on concurrent projects in the rest of the tenure. Next slide, thanks, Derek. So, and we'll flip again to the next one, thank you. So the Barrage tenement, which is our most northern one, has got 6 prominent targets that we'll be chasing during the rest of the year whilst we're drilling, and I think that we'll be there's some very, very good work there to be done in conjunction with a little bit of geophysics, and Glenorchy will probably start drilling that in January as well. Next slide, thank you. So Germania is a very interesting dome, which is less than 10 kilometres from the Stawell gold mine. We'll be kicking that off in early in the next year. We'll just go to the last slide there, thanks. There were one more slide forwards. To sum up, we're fully funded. We've got a pretty aggressive drill program over the next 2 years. I'm very, very happy with the exploration team that we've drawn to site so far. We're still recruiting a couple of more geologists and technical people, but we have a phenomenally prospective block of ground which just hasn't had proper justice in terms of exploration. So I think in the next 2 years we'll do better than what the previous 40 years of exploration has delivered, and that's using the good results and the learnings from earlier explorers. So that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. and the presentation. Sorry for the technical glitch. The maybe as far with respect to questions, why don't we? You talked a little bit about drilling at Wildwood starting in November. When do you expect to be drilling at some of the other targets beyond that?
Well, we're lining up Glenorchy 6156. There are two deeper domes there that we should have clearance to actually start drilling there by December. I think early in the new year is probably a good time to kick that off. But we've secured rigs, which is really good, and I'm hoping that next year you'll basically see 2 to 3 prospects concurrently being drilled at any time of the year.